to deal the first pitch to Luke Lawrence, the shortstop, and that misses down and away for ball one.
Yeah, Lawrence hitting .338 on the year, has 37 runs scored, 35 RBIs. Strong bat.
And he's going to put this one in play, and McElpatrick not able to keep it in the infield, so the leadoff man is aboard on a single to right from Luke Lawrence.
Yeah, and that's why he's at the top of the lineup. Just a really good table setter, .391 on base percentage. Just leading off the team, and usually Pacella's hitting behind him, but today it's the freshman Luke Stolga.
He's fourth in the Missouri Valley Conference in hits, now up to 55 on the season is Lawrence, and now Luke Stolga, who we talked about in the open, a really talented freshman who's gotten into a bigger role for this Redbirds team.
Yeah, and he's deserved it, really, as of late.
And he drives this one deep into center. Back goes Arnone. Looks like he's going to be under it, and he will make the catch for the first out of the inning. Lawrence not going to tag, and so one away for Illinois State in the top of the first.
Yeah, and that one got a little above. We talked about before the game, you and I, how there's a wind tunnel going out into left center. You could see a lot of balls that are lifted that way leave the park. That one kind of lifted over the wind a little bit, kind of got caught up there, and Arnone was able to run it down.
Yeah, in warm-ups, it seemed like every ball hit the left center was leaving Miller Park. But it does look like the wind direction has shifted just slightly, as Dyke will throw back to keep Lawrence at bay. But just slightly not as dangerous for the pitchers today, as it's not directly out to left center. So Dyke faces Judah Morris, and he's going to plunk him, and so there will be 2 on and 1 out for Illinois State in the top of the first.
Yeah, just not a good pitch there. Jack Dyke got Stolga to pop that one up on a pitch up and in. That time tried to do the same thing with Morris and just went too far up and in.
4th hit by pitch this season, and Judah Morris very good at getting on base, and one of the highest slugging percentages on the team, so he won't get a chance to swing the bat this time. And now Noah Rabin at the plate and fouls the first one back.
Yeah, and we've seen Illinois State be aggressive here early against Jack Dyke, not letting him get too deep into the count. And we saw, Lawrence single on the second pitch of the game, and Stolga go after the first one.
Yeah, trying to get on him quickly. Rabin hasn't gotten a super high average this season, but he is a power hitter. About half of his hits have gone for extra bases, 8 homers on the season. Takes that pitch inside. So 2-1 is the count. Rabin, not the kind of hitter you want at the plate with 2 runners on if you're Northwestern, because he's got the power to free this baseball from Miller Park. And he's going to hit this one deep into right center. Freeman charging on and makes the catch as Arnone. Lawrence will tag for third. And now nearly an opportunity for Morris to get to second. He will not. So runners at the corners, 2 out. And a great run there by Griffin Arnone in center to keep that ball in the park and prevent a run from scoring.
Yeah, that looked like extra bases off the bat, and Arnone just a great jump on it, able to track it down. Freeman did not look like he might have been able to get there, but really good job by Arnone to run that one down and save a run, if not 2.
Yeah, just based on the line of the baseball, I was looking at Freeman, and he was kind of trotting over, but then Arnone comes charging in to record the second out of the inning, and that's a big one for Jack Dyke. Has a chance to get out of the jam with 2 outs in the top of the first, but runners at the corners, shading Kubo at the plate. And that pitch misses down and away. Markinson able to keep it in front of him. Obviously cannot have a wild pitch in this situation.
Yeah, Shaden Kubo starting at second base today seemed to have got a shaky grip on the starting role. Had started most of the games this season, but only one of his last 4. But in the lineup here today.
The senior from Hawaii. Last year was his first at Illinois State after transferring from Northern Colorado. He did have 1 hit in his 1 at-bat against Northwestern in the first meeting between these 2 teams, and now he's ahead in the count, 2-0.
Yeah, also had a pinch hit single in their win on Friday before going 0 for 4 on Saturday.
And that just off the plate. So 3-0 to Kubo. We'll see if he has the green light.
Yeah, and with the bat that Shai Robinson is swinging behind him, would not be surprised to see him get the green light. Robinson a little bit cold. Just came off the injury. Just came back from injury.
That pitch catches the outside corner of the plate. Good job from Dyke to stay in the at-bat. So 3-1 to Kubo with 2 outs and runners at the corners. Big moment early in this game. Kubo grounds this one to short. Livermore just going to step on second himself and end the danger for Northwestern. No runs for Illinois State in the top of the first, and Northwestern will have its first shot at the plate when we get back on Big Ten Plus. Player, and on the mound today for Illinois State is the right-hander Carter Monk, who is getting his 4th start of the season.
Yeah, Monk also an inflated 8.22 ERA, but coming off probably his best start of the season with 5 innings and 3 earned over the weekend.
The junior transfer from Parkland College.
Over last midweek against Lindenwood, not the weekend.
Yeah, that was a very solid start, and so he is rewarded with another midweek start. And first pitch ball to Preston Knott, riding a 10-game hitting streak entering this game, but swings and misses here for strike 1.
Yeah, Preston Knott been Northwestern's best hitter probably since he entered the lineup, has reached in 20 out of 23 starts, and 10-game hitting streak. 7 of those, he has multiple hits in the game.
4 home runs, 4 doubles in his last 10 games, but another big swing and miss. Looks like that ball kind of up in the zone, but not able to get the bat to the ball.
Yeah, just good pitch by Monk, elevating that fastball to where Knott couldn't reach it.
1-2 to Knott, and another swing and a miss. So a first batter strikeout for Carter Monk, the kind of start you like to see for the Redbirds pitcher.
Yeah, it just looked like Preston Knott wasn't really prepared for the fastball. A couple of fastballs right by him at 90, 91 miles an hour that time, dropping under the bat of Preston Knott, and he was really late on that.
And now Owen McElpatrick, who you talked about just a moment ago, been one of Northwestern's best hitters this season, but struggling as of late. Did get a little bit of momentum back in the Illinois series, but somebody that the Wildcats really need to get going to generate some offense. And he is going to take a strike, and the count is 1-1.
Yeah, Preston Knott over the weekend 4 for 11, did homer and walk 3 times. Owen McElpatrick 4 for 11, homered and walked 3 times. But before that was just 1 for 22.
Takes ball too high. McElpatrick had an absolutely blistering series against Nebraska a few weeks ago. 2 home runs, 7 hits in those 3 games. Cooled off a little bit, but as we said, against Illinois, maybe starting to get the confidence back, and now he's ahead in the count, 3-1.
Yeah, and last time Northwestern was at home, Owen McElpatrick missed a home run, was robbed of a home run by about that. If he put a foot farther, it would have been a game tire with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. You could see that must have been the clicker, even though it didn't go for a home run. It led into that Illinois series.
Swing and miss for a full count, and now McElpatrick going to draw a walk, able to lay off that pitch out of the zone, and good plate discipline from the sophomore.
Yeah, good work by McElpatrick to lay off a pretty good pitch. His on-base percentage, 382. That's tied for 3rd on the team and sets up the 2 bats in the middle of the lineup that Northwestern really needs to get going.
Yeah, Jackson Freeman leads this team in home runs with 8, 26 RBIs as well, a high OPS. Really talented freshman, but did not have his best series last weekend and fouls off the first pitch here.
Yeah, 0 for 11 over the weekend. Did walk and was hit by a pitch, but struck out 4 times.
He also leads this team in walks in addition to home runs, so I think that's a really promising sign for the freshman from Ladera Ranch, California. Takes strike 1 here.
Yeah, and one odd stat about Freeman's season so far, only hitting 196 with runners on base. So really good when nobody's in front of him, but kind of struggling when there's a guy on base to drive in.
Now he's down 0-2, and Monk will throw back to first. McElpatrick able to slide back safely. So the 0-2 to Jackson Freeman. And we're going to have a quick timeout here, courtesy of home plate umpire Thomas Burrell Jr. And an interesting change for Northwestern's coaching staff. A player, grad student Tyler Gannis, actually coaching first base today. And Freeman goes down swinging. Another strikeout for Carter Monk, and there's 2 away in the bottom of the 2nd.
Yeah, this Carter Monk fastball has been really good so far. Has a lot of ride. Northwestern bats have been under it for the most part and pretty late on it. So getting on him quickly at 90 miles an hour. He's got 2 Ks here in the first inning.
And out of the plate comes Bennett Markinson, highest average on the team. Another check to first, and McElpatrick back safely. I saw Bennett Markinson hit at least 3 balls out of the park in batting practice before this game. He really likes the wind tunnel to left center, and he'll look to ride that to a homer here as ball 1 misses low.
Yeah, Markinson, just such a solid hitter, catches barrels more than anyone on the team, gets a hit in a full third of his at-bats. Only 3 home runs on the season to go with 6 doubles, but has a lot of power in that bat.
And lays off this one, and ahead in the count 2-0 is Markinson, the catcher, who also leads the Big Ten in times he's caught a runner stealing, so a really strong asset both sides of the ball for Northwestern.
Yeah, and started every game. Not every game behind the plate, but has started in every game.
And McElpatrick is running, throw to second in time, and that'll do it for the bottom of the first. An excellent throw from Daniel Contreras, gets Owen McElpatrick at second, and now Northwestern not able to get anything going in the bottom of the first, and there's another look at the excellent throw from Daniel Contreras that erases McElpatrick on the base paths.
Yeah, nice tag there by Luke Lawrence at shortstop, and that'll take us to the top of the second inning.
Plate with Shy Robinson, who had a home run in the first matchup between these two teams.
Yeah, that home run accounting for Illinois State's only run of the baseball game. And Shy Robinson recently returning from a 6-week injury. Has played in 3 games since then.
Dyke misses low and away for ball 1. Count is 1-1. Yeah, Robinson also missed 22 games with injury last year, but a Chicago area product from Homewood Flossmoor High School. Was the number 2 shortstop in Illinois coming out of high school, and one-time Chicago Tribune Player of the Week as well in 2021.
Yeah, and he was really good before his injury, hitting .275, 0 for 8 since he's come back.
But hits this ball deep to left, and that ball is gone, and Shy Robinson gives Illinois State a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, he powered that one out of there. Kind of made me eat my words with the rust thing. He's clearly shaking it off. He really loves Miller Park here. 2 home runs in 2 games, and that's his 3rd of the season.
That was a no-doubter. The second it left the bat, you knew, particularly with the wind today, not that it needed any help, that ball was going to get out of Miller Park, and Shy Robinson homers for the 2nd time this season against Northwestern.
Yeah, Dyke kind of left that one over the middle of the plate. Robinson kept the hands in and was just able to power that one out of there.
So a 1-0 lead for the Redbirds. They did not lead in the first matchup between these two teams, which, as we said in the opener, a 5-1 victory for Northwestern back on February 27th. That was an impromptu game scheduled at the last second because Chicago had some beautiful atypical February weather. This pitch runs inside for ball 1. 1-1 is the count, but this one obviously been on the schedule for a while. And an important game for both teams who dropped their conference series a weekend ago, looking to build some momentum. And a swing and a miss from Rasmussen. Yeah. So 1-2 the count.
Fun fact about that last game is the first time Miller Park had ever hosted a Northwestern baseball game in the month of February. So really rare to get that warm weather, and a good job by the athletic staff to get that game on the books in about 5 or 6 days' notice.
And they absolutely needed to, because that was a day built for baseball. And since then, cold weather has returned at times, but a pretty nice day today. It's a full count to Rasmussen. Temps in the high 50s, low 60s. Quite a bit of wind, though, and you saw Shy Robinson ride that wind to a homer 1 at-bat ago.
Yeah, it looked like there might be some rain in the forecast earlier, but beautiful day for baseball.
And a swing and a miss from Rasmussen, and Dyke gets the strikeout, a big out to come back from the leadoff home run.
Yeah, good work by Dyke to stay collected, and nice pitch right there. With the off-speed, gets the swing and miss from Augie Rasmussen.
That brings JT Sokolov to the plate. The center fielder hitting .280. But you don't want to let this guy get on base, because if you do, he leads the Missouri Valley Conference in stolen bases.
Yeah, 16 for 16 on the year, has not been caught stealing.
Ooh, and that pitch nearly hits him, but he ducks out of the way, so 2-0 the count. Dyke's command a little bit wobbly at times so far in this game, falling behind in a couple counts.
Yet to walk a guy, but did hit Judah Morris.
That's a good pitch in there for a strike, 2-1 to Sokolov. Yeah, 14 balls and 12 strikes so far in this game. Not the ratio you want for Dyke. And that one misses. So a 3-1 count to Sokolov. And as we just said, he's a guy who, if he gets on base, is a threat to steal second at any point. And he pops this one up foul. No play on that ball. So another full count.
Yeah, nice pitch by Dyke there to get it in the zone, not put that one right over the heart of the plate, kind of had it outside, and Sokolov popped it up and out.
Saw Sokolov also hit a few balls hard in the warm-up, but he's going to draw a walk here as Dyke's pitch misses low and away. And Sokolov on first, and now Dyke is going to have to be very mindful of him trying to steal second.
Yeah, Sokolov, 22nd walk of the season. Only Daniel Pasella has more on the team. And he is dangerous, as you mentioned, to steal second at any point and give Illinois a runner in scoring position. And
now this ball driven into right, but Freeman looks like he should be under it. Runs on to make the catch for the Daniel Contreras, the catcher who made a great throw to catch McElpatrick stealing, pops out. And now Luke Lawrence, the leadoff man, will head back to the plate.
Yeah, last time Lawrence attacking early, drove one up the middle past the diving glove of Owen McElpatrick. We'll see what he can do here with 2 outs and a guy on base.
In the right-on-left matchup, Illinois State got on the board. First at-bat this inning with a Shy Robinson home run. Now Dyke misses low to Lawrence. Dyke looking to limit the damage in this, his 4th start of the season.
Yeah, Jack Dyke really needs to be better at limiting damage. As you mentioned, crooked numbers every time he gives up a run. So needs to do a good job here of shutting it down at 1 run and holding it steady until the bullpen gets involved.
Yeah, it does have 7 scoreless appearances, so when he's on, he's on. Has been used as an opener recently, and there goes Sokolov, the throw by Markinson in time, and that'll do it for the top of the second. Bennett Markinson caught more runner stealing than anybody in the Big Ten. JT Sokolov stole more bases than anybody in the Missouri Valley Conference. Markinson wins the first battle, though we will have a replay seemingly here.
Yeah, we'll see the replay on the screen. Bennett Markinson with an absolute cannon, a little bit high, but a great job by Livermore to get the tag down. It looks like the umpires are going to discuss this one. Couldn't tell from that angle whether he got the tag down in time. Here comes another angle. It's a great angle. And it looks like he's out to me. I thought the glove beat the hand by a hair.
Yeah, a really nice tag applied there quickly to the left hand that was trying to slide in there. So the umpires will run back on the field, and they will confirm that Sokolov was out. So the top of the second is over, but not before Illinois State gets on the board with a deep shot from Shy Robinson. And this another look at the play where Bennett Markinson called JT Sokolov to end the top of the second. Illinois State leads 1-0. We'll be right back on Big Ten Plus. Bennett Markinson will lead off the bottom of the second for Northwestern after catching JT Sokolov stealing to end the top of the second.
Yeah, so now both teams 0 for 1 on the base paths, both with 2 outs and a runner on first, and we'll see what Bennett Markinson can do at the plate.
McElpatrick has walked for Northwestern, otherwise no base runners, and a couple strikeouts in the first for Carter Monk.
Yeah, Monk really had that fastball going in the first inning. The off-speed was there and gone. It was hit or miss, but the fastball up in the zone, a lot of ride, a lot of juice on it.
And this one inside, so Markinson ahead 2-1. Markinson, who has been one of the best hitters of the season for Northwestern, highest average, and has some power as well, 6 doubles, 3 home runs, but grounds this one to third. Shy Robinson throws across the diamond, and that gets away from Judah Morris, so Markinson safe at first. We'll see if it's called an error, but regardless, the leadoff man is on for Northwestern.
Yeah, that was kind of a questionable decision by Shy Robinson over at third. It felt like he had a lot more time. If he's going to take that one, which he should as the third baseman, if they can get there, the common sense is take the throw, take the play. But he kind of threw that one moving into right field almost, or center field, when it felt like he could have set his feet and made a strong throw over to first.
So Trent Liokois comes to the plate for Northwestern with a runner on, nobody out, and takes strike one over the outside corner.
Yeah, Liokois has 3 homers in his last 6 games. Only 4 hits in that span, but has the juice to hit one out of here at any time.
One of the most powerful hitters on this team. Fouls this one back, though, and he's now down 0-2 to Carter Monk, who had a pair of strikeouts in the first inning.
Yeah, and Liokois has struck out in the last 2, but the 8 games before that did not have a K, which is impressive for the guy who at one point led the team with the most strikeouts and really was not catching anything on the bat. A lot of swing and miss in his game up until about 2 weeks ago when he's kind of figured it out and put a lot more balls in play even when they're not dropping for hits.
And it's actually an 0-2 count. Drives this one to left center. Back goes the Redbirds, and that's off the wall. Markinson rounds to third, and a double for Trent Liokois puts 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out for Northwestern in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, great piece of hitting by Trent Liokois. He's at his best when he's going the other way. That time gets a fastball up in the zone, just does a good job to put it where it's pitched, take it the other way, missed a home run, probably by about 2 or 3 feet there. That one almost got out with the aid of the wind. But regardless, Northwestern in prime scoring position here.
And that one beautifully placed in the left center gap. And so Griffin Arnone comes to the plate for Northwestern with 2 runners in scoring position, nobody out, as the Wildcats look to take the lead in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, Griffin Arnone, a guy who's had a good series against Illinois over the weekend, 4 for 11, 3 RBIs, 3 doubles in that series, although he did strike out 4 times.
And on the season, 12 of his 24 hits have gone for extra bases. So somewhat of a boomer bust hitter, and has moved up in the lineup today to the 6th spot. He's spent a lot of the season in the 9-hole and kind of there also to help turn over the lineup. Not your traditional 9-hole hitter in terms of his production. He's ahead in the count 2-0, and now lines this one into first. And here comes Markinson for the first run of the game. Liokois right behind him, and he'll slide in. And Northwestern takes the lead 2-1 in the bottom of the second on an RBI single from Griffin Arnone.
Yeah, good job by Griffin Arnone. Got jammed a little bit, but muscled that one out off the inside handle of the bat, and nobody up the middle. And he just pushes that one into center field, scores 2. Good piece of hitting.
And Griffin Arnone really getting going. After a good series against Illinois, delivers in a big moment here, and a good piece of base running from Trent Liokois. He was going all the way.
Yeah, great running from Trent Liokois, understanding where the defense was. That hit extends Griffin Arnone's hit streak to 5, which is his longest of the season.
And now Vince Bianchino will line this one into center. Griffin Arnone trying to get to third, and he is safe. His foot almost came off the bag, but I don't think Shai Robinson applied the tag in time, and now he is officially in. So runners at the corners and still nobody out here in the bottom of the second. Northwestern starting to rake.
Yeah, Vince Bianchino, 2 hits in the last game against Illinois State, and they're going to take another look at this. I figured they might. That one looked really close. Griffin Arnone, a guy with a lot of speed, but that ball was pretty shallow. A nice throw by Sokolov in center, and it looked like the ball might have beat him by a step, but the umpire did not agree. Here's a great look at it. And it's hard to tell from that angle because of where the glove is.
Great awareness from Arnone as his foot came off the bag to just scurry it back there real fast, but that's not the play they're looking for. They're looking at the initial tag to see if Robinson got it in time. Definitely aggressive base running from one of Northwestern's best base runners. Arnone leads the team in steals.
Yeah, that Bethune-Cookman game, 2 of his 3 hits on the season.
And ball 1 in the dirt for Carter Monk, who after a really strong first inning, struggling a little bit here. Northwestern's been on him. Started with a throwing error that allowed Markinson to reach, and then Liokois doubles and a couple singles have given Northwestern this 2-1 lead, and still nobody out. Still a couple runners on. And now Kaplan ahead in the count.
Yeah, now Monk kind of losing control a little bit here. Had really good command of the fastball in the first, kind of gotten a little shaky here in the second.
And wow, that ball was hit hard, but foul by Kaplan. Just got out in front of it.
Yeah, that's the kind of pitch where, as a hitter, your eyes light up, and it's so hard to wave back. That was a fastball middle, and Kaplan just had to wait a little longer, and he would have driven that one into the gap.
Definitely a lot of velocity off the bat, but Monk back in the at-bat. 2-1 is the count, now 3-1 after that ball in the dirt. Contreras able to keep it in front of himself, and so the runner's not able to advance.
Yeah, good job, guy Contreras, to save a run there. If that ball gets by him, Arnone comes in to score, and B1G advances to second.
Yeah, his job has not been easy so far. Already had to try to catch a runner stealing, and did, and had a couple of pitches in the dirt to corral, and now a walk will load the bases with nobody out. Good plate discipline from the freshman, Marty Kaplan.
Yeah, good job by Marty Kaplan, understanding Monk's been a little wild here in the second inning. That was his first walk of the inning. He did walk McElpatrick back in the first, but not locating his pitch as well, and Kaplan, good job to not try to do too much. Swung at the one pitch that was in the zone and hit it hard, but foul. And
Northwestern's last home series now hits this one up the middle. Double play opportunity. Said they're only going to get the runner at second, and Griffin Arnone will score from third. And so Northwestern ahead 3-1 as Livermore reaches on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, good defense by Lawrence. They had him shifted up the middle. Lawrence was standing behind second base. Slipped a little on the pickup, as you'll see here. Had a chance at a double play, but didn't have his footing down. And Livermore, good job to run it out. And good situational baseball. You just got to put a ball in play, score a run right there. Flip it to the top of the lineup.
And now with one out, still a couple runners on, including B1G at third for Preston Knott, trying to keep his 10-game hitting streak alive. And he drives this one deep into center. Sokolov is under it. B1G looks like he's ready to tag, and here he comes. And also tagging is Livermore, and he is safe. And so the run scores for B1G. Northwestern leads 4-1, and Livermore able to advance to second as well.
Yeah, it was a questionable decision by Tony Livermore. First of all, good piece of hitting by Preston Knott. Again, situational baseball, lifting a ball up into center field, just scoring a run. Tony Livermore was safe on that play, but pretty questionable on a ball hit to center. Really no chance to get B1G at home. So the only play was at second, and he decided to run and made it in there just barely. And looks like they just made some sort of switch. I couldn't tell if it was a glove switch, if it was a player switch. Okay, it was not a player switch, but it might have been a glove switch out there, as Sokolov ran all the way near the dugout, met a coach in the middle, and then ran back out there. Maybe shades? I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps. The sun is shining through much more so than it was in warm-ups. And now McElpatrick going to ground this one to second. Opportunity for Kubo to end the inning, and he will, but not before Northwestern takes a 4-1 lead on an excellent hitting inning. So Northwestern takes a 4-1 lead in the bottom of the second behind 3 hits, including a 2 RBI single from Griffin Arnone, and now Jack Dyke faces Luke Lawrence to lead off the third.
Yeah, and last inning ended with Sokolov being caught stealing at second. And let's talk strategy a little bit. We've seen two-out steals of second, both being caught. But as a coach, you're fine with that. With both times, Markinson, Lawrence, probably the best hitters in the lineup for either team up. You're okay. If they steal that base, then you get a guy in scoring position. A base hit scores them. If they're out, then you get arguably your best hitter leading off the next inning. So good strategy from both coaches.
Yeah, almost like a 2-for-1 opportunity for those hitters. And now 3-1 count for Luke Lawrence, who singled in his first at-bat and is well ahead in the count here. But he fouls that one off, so another full count. Dyke's faced quite a few of those so far.
Yeah, Dyke doing a good job battling in these at-bats, falling behind a bunch of these hitters, but a good job to fight back, make a good pitch on the black on the outside corner, and force it to a full count.
And to get to the third inning, he's already helping out the Northwestern bullpen, but that'll be a walk for Luke Lawrence to lead off the third.
And speaking of the Northwestern bullpen, nobody out there yet, so looks like Dyke might be long for this game, might get the rest of this inning, maybe even into the fourth, depending on his efficiency. And maybe Ben Greenspan's decided to stretch out Jack Dyke a little bit, let him go a full start. We'll see later down the line.
did pitch 4 scoreless innings in the Saturday game against Nebraska. That was out of the pen. And then recently he's been kind of used as an opener as he misses inside here to Luke Stolga.
Yeah, and retired Stolga on the first inning, on the first pitch, a fly out to center on a fastball up and in. That time, another fastball in. So it looks like the scouting report is hard stuff inside, throws another one right there, and just jam Luke Stolga in.
Yeah, peppering that part of the plate. And the wind has calmed down a little bit, but still, for right-handed hitters today, if you can loft the ball to left center, you've got an excellent chance to hit a homer because there's a tunnel that direction that we've talked about a few times. Trent Liokois, a left-handed hitter, able to ride that to a double in the bottom of the second. Shai Robinson, a home run for Illinois State in that direction. And now Stolga hits this one to center. Arnone is there, will make the play. Lawrence not going to tag. And so solid defense there from Arnone, made the right read on a ball that was hit pretty hard.
Yeah, another good pitch. Kind of jammed him a little bit. Couldn't get his arms fully extended, which Stolga likes to do. And a good pitch by Dyke to get a fly out to center. And we saw Lawrence thought about tagging from first. The whole Northwestern bench called it out. So good job by the team communicating to their center fielder and their second baseman about the chance of a potential tag up.
Judah Morris was hit in his first at-bat and now takes ball 1 inside.
Yeah, power hitter, leads the team and the conference, the Missouri Valley Conference, in doubles, has 22 extra base hits on the season, 15 of those being doubles and 6 home runs.
And now he watches strike 1 over the outside half. Good pitch from Dyke.
Morris 1 for 3 in the first game against Northwestern.
And you were talking about with this wind, Elliot, you want to keep the ball down and away against right-handed hitters.
Yeah, make them drive it the other way on the ground. You really, especially a power guy like Morris, if he can keep his hands in on a pitch up or a pitch in, that ball is going to go a long way. We got the wind calm down a little bit here, but you still want to play it safe, keep it low and away. Or if it looks like Dyke's trying to pitch up and into a lot of guys, which is risky, but if you can jam them, they're not going to get any lift on it.
And on that pitch up in the zone, Morris swings and just fouls it off, so a 2-2 count with a runner on first and 1 out.
Dyke has his game plan today. He is attacking the upper half of the zone and the inner half of the zone. He's made a couple mistakes, left one right over the middle of the plate for Shai Robinson, but a good job from Dyke so far to stick to his game plan.
And gets the strikeout on the swing and miss from Morris, a big out for Jack Dyke.
Yeah, beautiful slider right there. Bent that one, started up and in, bent it right in the top of the zone, and Morris didn't really have a shot at it.
A really strong pitch from the graduate student. Nothing Morris could do with it.
That's the kind of pitch as a hitter, you see it, you know it's going to drop in there, but you can't really do much with it.
And Noah Rabin swings and misses. So he's down 0-1 in the count. And after a leadoff walk to Luke Lawrence, Dyke trying to avoid any other damage.
Yeah, good job by Dyke. He's found his off-speed touch a little bit. Back-to-back really good off-speed pitches. Missed that one up and out with the off-speed, but really starting to mix in those pitches, those off-speed pitches, with that fastball that's been working well so far.
Gave up a leadoff single in the first, a leadoff homer in the second, leadoff walk in the third, but in the latter part of these innings, he's done an excellent job of getting out of some trouble.
Yeah, so far those are 3 of the 4 base runners he's faced. So,
and now another swing and a miss from Rabin. He's now down 1-2 in the count. Jack Dyke 1 strike away from hanging a 0.
Yeah, 3rd straight off-speed pitch. Would not be surprised to see a fastball up in the zone. Try to get Rabin to chase here. After three straight off-speed pitches to Rabin and finished Morris off with 1. Fastball up, probably out of the zone, and see if he can get Rabin to swing through it.
First, he'll try to hold Lawrence at first, who has 8 steals in 11 attempts this season. And that ball misses, so count runs to 2-2.
Yeah, tried to bend an off-speed also into the top of the zone, much like he did against Morris. So really pounding that off-speed right now. At some point, he's going to go back to the fastball, and we'll see if Rabin will be on it.
2-2, 2 outs to Rabin, and swing and a miss. Jack Dyke gets the strikeout, and no runs for Illinois State in the top of the third. Northwestern will try to add to their lead when they return to the plate in the bottom of this inning. Jack Dyke gets a strikeout to end the top of the third, and now Northwestern will return to the plate, leading 4-1 and looking to add to that lead with Jackson Freeman stepping into the batter's box.
Yeah, and this is a guy you want at the plate to lead off innings, hitting .583 when he's the first batter to step into the box in any given inning. So really mashing the ball as the leadoff hitter.
That's a great stat. The freshman who has been a huge part of this Northwestern team that's already bettered their win total from a season ago, but is riding a 4-game losing streak after getting swept on the road at Illinois, and really would love to get this game in the win column before a really big home series, starting with Friday night against Purdue at Wrigley, and then 2 games against Purdue here in Rocky and Bernice Miller Park.
Yeah, and Jackson Freeman, a guy that is integral to this offense. Pretty cold against Illinois in the sweep, and so far he's not looked super comfortable. A lot of swing and miss at fastballs in the zone, which you don't see a lot from Jackson Freeman. That time, good job to get the bat to it on the slider, but he's got to really find that baseball and barrel it up, send it the other way if he needs to, but too much swing and miss of pitches in the zone so far.
The guy's done a really good job of getting on base, .413 on base percentage, but he's going to ground this one to first. It looked like that rolled foul, and it did, and so we'll do it again. The 2-2 pitch. Freeman had 6 home runs in an 8-game stretch from March 31st against Nebraska to April 14th against Maryland. Was absolutely scorching. Cooled off a little bit since then, but so much potential, and a player that Northwestern first-year head coach Ben Greenspan looking to build around.
Yeah, and he's been hitting in this 3-hole, as he pops that one up, in the middle, in the 3-hole for every single game, as that's out number 1. But he is a guy who, Ben Greenspan, this is the face of his team for the next couple of years. One of the 2 or 3 best hitters on the team right now, and only going to get better as he gets older.
And along with Owen McElfatrick, a sophomore, Bennett Markinson, Preston Knott, both juniors, potential for Northwestern to really build on something offensively. But 1 out in the bottom of the third. Bennett Markinson reached on an error to start the second inning that turned into a very productive inning for this Wildcats offense.
Yeah, kind of this, you say the same thing about walks. You can't give up free bases, and errors the same way. You can't take an out, turn it into a base hit. And when you do, it leads to disaster.
Watches that one go by for ball 1. 1-1 is the count. Yeah, that ball grounded to kind of in between Robinson and Lawrence in Markinson's first at-bat. Robinson decided to take it, was not able to make the throw. And Markinson would come around to score on a Griffin Arnone 2 RBI single.
Yeah, and just Markinson so patient at the plate. Watch strike 2 there, but that's not a pitch he can do a lot with. You'll see him fight off a lot of pitches here.
And now is going to line this one into right for a base hit. He's going to hold at first, but Markinson just keeps on delivering. The catcher doing it on both sides of the plate.
Yeah, Markinson, such a good 2-strike hitter. Not only does he lead the team in average and total hits, he also has the fewest strikeouts of any qualified hitter in the Northwestern lineup. Just so good at putting a bat to a ball, especially with 2 strikes, just does not strike out a lot. Good job there. Taking a pitch inside, kind of punching it the other way. Not a pitch you can really hammer, but does a good job to find green grass.
Speaking of hitting one the other way, that's what Liokois did in his first time up, but he pops this one into left center. And that'll be the second out of the inning, kind of in the same direction as his double in the bottom of the second. That one banged off the wall just about 2 feet away from a home run. This time hangs up in the air. And so Griffin Arnone will look to keep the line moving for Northwestern with 2 outs.
Yeah, and the difference between those two is on that second swing just now, Trent Liokois dropped his hands a little. When he does that, the bat head dips and the ball goes straight up, or he just misses the ball completely. When he can keep those hands through the zone, he gets barrels on it, and he gets as hard contact as anyone on this team.
A hitter who likes to loft the ball. Worked the first time around, not the second time, and that bounces off the plate. And home plate umpire Thomas Burrell Jr. will give another ball to Carter Monk. There's been activity in the the Illinois State bullpen since Monk struggles in the bottom of the second. But it's been his inning thus far in the bottom of the third and has gotten a couple outs.
Yeah, and he's been a lot better this inning, locating the fastball, getting it by hitters. Northwestern's hitters haven't really been on the fastball I mean, they've hit a couple of them, but it's really been when he can locate the fastball and the off-speed.
And Arnone drives this one deep to right, but making the catch is Rasmussen to end the inning, and Arnone puts his hands on his head. He hit that ball hard. He thought it was going to be extra bases. Rasmussen says not so fast, and that'll do it for the bottom of the third.
Yeah, really nice swing by Griffin Arnone. Hit that one on a line, but Rasmussen already deep in the right field corner. Only had to go about 8 or 9 steps to track that one down. Almost overran it, but makes the catch, and that'll send us to the top of the fourth with the score Northwestern 4, Illinois State 1.
Hold their lead at 4-1, and Jack Dyke back on the mound for the Wildcats facing Shaden Kubo.
Yeah, and finally a little action out there in the Northwestern bullpen. Couple guys, or one guy up and throwing. I can't tell who that is from here. See if we can get that to you later in the inning. But Shaden Kubo had first and third in the first inning as that one goes foul and grounded out to Owen McElpatrick to Tony Livermore over at shortstop and ended that rally. A pretty decent hitter so far this season. Only hitting .225, but packs some extra base punch, 4 extra base hits, and gets on base at a .325 clip.
Now Dyke finds the zone here and is ahead in the count 1-2. Outside of the deep shot from Shy Robinson, otherwise been a clean game for Jack Dyke. And gets the strikeout here, swinging, and the off-speed stuff is working for the grad student.
Yeah, Dyke really didn't have that off-speed command in the first 2 innings, but these last 2 innings, or the third inning and that first at-bat, he really has that thing on a string. That curveball dropped about 18 inches there, went from over the letters to down by the knees, and Kubo not even close.
And now facing the one hitter who scored on him and took him yard, and Shy Robinson, he pitches away for ball 1. As maybe a couple raindrops start to fall. Still sunny skies out here. The wind holding at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Not quite as strongly blowing out to left field as it was earlier in the day. And a 2-0 count to Shy Robinson, who's had home runs in both of the 2 meetings between these 2 teams as he takes strike 1.
Yeah, and that accounts for 2 of his 3 home runs on the year, so really loves Miller Park in facing these Northwestern pitchers. The pitch he got was Jack Dyke's only real mistake. Left it fastball middle, and Robinson just powered it out, a no-doubter. But Dyke being a little careful here with Shy Robinson pitching around him, 3-1 count.
From Flossmoor, Illinois is Robinson, and now he thought he was taking a walk. Instead, he'll take strike 2, so a full count to the Chicago area native, who returned to the lineup recently, and now he'll take his base on the full count walk. He did not play from March 3rd to April 17th, but returned in the last midweek game against Lindenwood. And a welcome sight for Illinois State. Hits a home run in his first plate appearance and draws a walk in his second.
Yeah, and he was 0 for 8 coming into today in those previous 3 games. So shaking off the rust a little bit here. And if Illinois State can get him going, that's just another dynamic bat into their lineup, which is a top half and Missouri Valley Conference offensive team. Their pitching struggles at times, and it looks like Jack Dyke balked, which is Northwestern's conference-leading 12th balk of the season. Nobody else in the Big Ten has more than 8. Kind of a weird stat that I didn't think was going to come into play today, but the balk puts Shy Robinson at second, and Illinois suddenly threatening to score.
Yeah, runner in scoring position and good stat from you, Elliot. You thought you might not need to use it, but it does come into play. They will say that Rasmussen did go there, so first pitch strike from Dyke to the right fielder, Rasmussen, who made a nice grab on a hard hit ball from Griffin Arnone to end the 3rd inning. And now that misses outside for ball 1.
That is a great miss from Jack Dyke. Curveball pulled the string. Looked like it might have dropped into the outside corner. At least the Northwestern dugout thought so. Umpire Thomas Burrell Jr. did not agree, but a good pitch where you want to be with that off-speed against a switch opposite hand hitter nonetheless.
And now Rasmussen pops this one to second. No double play opportunity, but 2 outs in the top of the 4th, and a heads-up play from McElpatrick, and a great pitch from Jack Dyke.
Yeah, good job to get it in on the hands, jam him a little bit. Dyke's really been good going at these hitters' hands, keeping the ball inside, not letting them get extended, with the exception of Shai Robinson, and good location and awareness from McElpatrick.
JT Sokolov drew a walk in his first appearance, then tried to steal second, was unsuccessful. Now he'll bunt. Vince Bianchina not able to make the play as his barehanded attempt goes by, and so JT Sokolov is on first. Shai Robinson on third, and 2 outs, and another big moment here for Jack Dyke. Bianchina was ready for the bunt, but just not able to field it cleanly.
Yeah, and we get another look at that bunt. Good job by Sokolov to get it down and get it in a great spot, kind of in between the pitcher and third base. You talk about speed with stolen bases, and Sokolov was 16 for 16 coming into today, now 16 for 17 stealing bags. But speed comes into play in a lot of different ways, and we saw it there, laid down a bunt and was at first with no real play for Bianchina.
Great pitch from Jack Dyke, and whether they say he went or it caught the zone, either way, it's a first pitch strike to Daniel Contreras, who flew out in the 2nd, and he's up in a big moment here in the top of the 4th. Runners at the corners. That pitch misses down and away.
Yeah, and you imagine, given that he was caught on the last attempt and given the runner on third, Sokolov likely staying in place here unless he has the bag stolen with ease. You don't want to make the 3rd out with a guy on third base.
And this one hit hard to left, just over the outstretched glove of Vince Bianchina, and so that'll score 1 run. Sokolov comes into third. He'll hold there, and Contreras gets into second. So Illinois State gets a run back. They trail 4-2 and still have 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs.
Yeah, great piece of hitting by Daniel Contreras. Get the hands inside, drive it. Bianchina might have tipped off his glove very close. Good job to get that bat head to the baseball. Very close for Bianchina. A questionable play out there in Preston Knott. We talked about his defense at the top. Threw, kind of tried to get Sokolov at third, had no real play, and allowed Daniel Contreras to advance to second. If he hits the cutoff man there instead of airmailing a throw, runner's probably at first and third.
Now Luke Lawrence at the plate. He takes strike 1, looking to potentially tie this game with runners in scoring position, trailing 4-2.
Yeah, Lawrence reached twice already, single in the first, walk in the third.
And now drives this one down the right field line, but foul. And so he's down 0-2 in the count.
Hits .413 with runners in scoring position, .395 with runners on overall, and .372 with 2 outs. So a guy you really like having up at the plate in this situation, fulfilling all 3 of those categories.
And a quick timeout called here. The wind is definitely starting to pick up. We can feel it in our booth, as well as just a couple raindrops, but it looks like the heavy rain has missed us. Jack Dyke with 2 strikes and gets Lawrence swinging in the top of the 4th, and a huge strikeout for Jack Dyke. He's gone through 4 innings with just 2 earned runs, but a big piece of hitting from Daniel Contreras does get Illinois State 1 run here in the top of the 4th. We'll be right back on Big Ten Plus.
Here, Northwestern gotta stick with it, can't blow this lead, as they have a couple times in these midweek games.
Vince Bianchina back to the plate after singling in his first appearance. Moved down in the lineup a bit, but able to produce in a bottom of the 2nd inning for Northwestern, but he does fall behind 0-2 here. And Carter Monk still on the mound for the Redbirds.
Bianchina, numbers down across the board, career low slugging percentage of just .277, really has to start to find some barrels, has some pop in that bat, but has been struggling to put the ball into extra base territory. He's got only hitting .234, but beyond that, only 6 extra base hits and no home runs.
And he pops this one up to left. Stolga's back on the track, and now Sokolov going to run on and make the catch from center. That ball driven pretty deep. It did ride the wind to the track, but not able to get it out of the park as Bianchina, and that'll be the first out of the bottom of the 4th for Northwestern.
Looked pretty routine off the bat just to pop up into left center, but kind of got a little help from the wind. And Sokolov being a little greedy out there in center. I've seen him take one over and left and over and right that didn't really look like his ball, but when you're a good defender, you got to go make those plays.
Yeah, he knows his value to the team, and that pitch gets away from Carter Monk, who has given up 4 runs, but only 2 of those earned because Bennett Markinson reached in the bottom of the second on an error, and then was one of those runs that came around and scored, and obviously would have gotten out of the inning earlier had Shai Robinson been able to make that play.
Yeah, and Monk really has been good outside of that second inning. Wasn't helped by his defense, but when he's on that fastball and he's got that location like that pitch right there, he's getting a lot of swings and misses, sitting 88 to 91 with that fastball, getting missing barrels up. So he's got a lot of ride on that fastball, and Northwestern hitters really just haven't been able to barrel him up.
This pitch Mitch is in the dirt, though, so a stress-free take for Marty Kaplan with 2 strikes.
Marty Kaplan, one of 3 Northwestern Wildcat baseball players to attend Harvard Westlake High School.
And he goes down swinging here. Carter Monk gets his 3rd strikeout of the game, and there's 2 away in the bottom of the 4th.
And yet again, that fastball kind of lost a little velo. He's at 88 right now, was at 91 earlier, but going up in the zone, and really Northwestern's bats, outside of Trent Liokois' double off the wall, they haven't barreled up that fastball really at all. Even the base hits off the fastball have kind of been like off the inside of the bat, off the outside of the bat, kind of blooped in there. So doing a really good job with the fastball. If he can get that off speed to stick, he will have both pitches working, and he would be dangerous deep into this game.
Tony Livermore reached on a fielder short in his first appearance, now going to drive Sokolov back in center, but looks like Sokolov is under it to end the 4th inning. And so Northwestern's lead remains at 4-2. We'll be right back in the top of the 5th as Illinois State tries to tie or retake the lead. Who had a tough outing against Illinois on Sunday, 4 earned runs and just an out, but has been one of Northwestern's most frequent bullpen arms and has gotten quite a few starts as well.
Yeah, Luke Beneke, a guy who hadn't allowed a home run until this past weekend, which was tied for best in the Big Ten before allowing home runs in back-to-back appearances against Illinois. Or, excuse me, one against Illinois, one against Maryland.
And now Luke Stolga hits this one deep to right center. That's going to bounce off the wall. Jackson Freeman plays it there, but a Stolga stand-up double to lead off the 5th. And he's flapping his wings for the Redbirds as they try to get back into this game.
Yeah, and we saw Jack Dyke really attack Stolga with pitches up and in on the hands. That time, Luke Beneke just leaving one out over the plate. Stolga able to get extended, drive that one the other way, and just really put a charge into it.
And he holds up at second, and Judah Morris now steps to the plate. Hit by pitch in his first at-bat, then struck out. But a guy with a lot of power.
Yeah, a guy who can really drive the ball to all parts of the field. Doesn't have a ton of speed, a big dude, but definitely gets after it at the plate. 22 extra base hits, 9 for 21 in his last 7. So swinging a hot bat right now.
And watches 2 balls go by, so he is 2-0. Luke Beneke was the 2022 Kelly Rodman Summer Rivalry Classic MVP in the Cape Cod League. Started his career at Lafayette, then transferred to Northwestern before last season. Pitched 42 innings for the Wildcats a year ago and has already pitched 39 1/3 this season.
Yeah, a guy who is very good at maintaining a low batting average against walks. A few too many guys. He's at 3-1 count here. When his command is good, it's hard to hit against him. But when he walks guys, he tends to give up really bad, like multi-run innings, pretty frequently.
And he will walk Morris here. So 2 runners on with nobody out, and Luke Beneke already in some danger. As you were saying, he allows a pretty low batting average against. He's 3rd in the Big Ten in homers allowed, just 2, and those both came a weekend ago. And so overall it's been pretty tough to hit, but it has been those free passes that have hurt him at times.
Yeah, if you ignore this past outing where he did get hit hard without a walk, he'd only allowed 2 earned runs in 16.1 innings.
Oh, and that ball gets away from Knott. And so Illinois State will have a chance to potentially tie this game. One run comes around to score. Here comes Morris for the second play at the plate, and he is safe, and it's a 4-4 ball game as Noah Rabin hits that one into left. Looked like a routine base hit, but it bounces over Preston Knott's head, and that allows 2 runs to score.
Yeah, we talked about Preston Knott's defense at the top. He's made a couple of bad plays here. That time, indecisive, was coming on hard. Looked like he might have tried to slide into a catch there. Pulls up at the last second, and you can't do that. Ball's going to get you in between hop, and that one skittered all the way to the wall. And now we have a tie game and a runner on third with nobody out.
And Ben Greenspan will head to the mound to talk with Beneke. Nobody up in the bullpen, so.
Of 16 earned runs and only 13 innings pitched.
So he knows what it takes and how he gets the swing and strike on Shaden Kubo. A good pitch there to get ahead in the count. Now just want to try to limit the damage with a runner on third. That's Noah Rabin. And now Kubo lines this one hard down the right field line, but foul.
Yeah, Kubo, a guy, a small hitter, but packs a lot of punch, very compact, and drove that one pretty deep the other way into right field. But foul.
The senior second baseman. And now he hits this one to McElpatrick in second. Will score a run. McElpatrick able to record the out, but Illinois State takes the lead 5-4 as Kubo's grounder is able to score Rabin from third.
Yeah, just good situational hitting. 2 strikes. Guy on third, nobody out. Just got to get a bat on a baseball. Does a good job to hit it up the middle. You don't want to hit it to the corners in that situation. Just escaped Luke Beneke's glove. Runner would not have been able to score if Beneke comes up with that.
Now Shai Robinson lays down the bunt. Bianchini will field this one cleanly and makes the play at first. Excellent defense from Vince Bianchina.
Yeah, we saw Robinson pump fake a bunt on his last at-bat. Ended up pulling back and taking it for a strike. Good job by Bianchina. Went for the bare hand against Sokolov on a play he didn't really have a chance at. This time, knows he has to go to the backhand, starting pretty deep. Great job to pick it up, throw a rocket over to Liokois.
And Rasmussen at the plate. 0 for 2 today, and swings at the first pitch here.
And nasty changeup there by Beneke, just dropping down and out, and Rasmussen had no chance.
And you got to feel for Beneke. He has given up 3 runs in this inning. One of those was unearned. But after kind of a tough outing in his last appearance, this one hadn't started so promising as well. And actually, that run did become earned because even though there was an error by Preston Knott, because he was not able to get out of the inning in time, they will call all 3 runs earned. And now Luke Beneke trying to get out of the top of the 5th. The 1-2 count on Rasmussen, and he gets him swinging. Big strikeout for Luke Beneke. But Illinois State takes the lead here in the top of the 5th with a 3 spot. And we'll take another, and we will head to the bottom of the 5th as Northwestern tries to retake the lead. And line that one pretty hard down the right field line, but foul, and now fouls off another, who he's behind in the count 0-2. Does have an RBI in today's game with the sac fly.
Yeah.
But trying to maintain a 10-game hitting streak. Does not have a hit yet. And he pops that one foul to stay alive.
Yeah, good job fighting off a fastball at the top of the zone. A pitch pretty much every Northwestern hitter's had trouble with today. Not struck out on one of those in the first inning. And good job there to fight it off and live to see another pitch.
And now he will strike out swinging. And Carter Monk, outside of 4 runs in the bottom of the 2nd, has been very solid, and that's why he's still out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, that curveball had sharp break on it. When you're working that fastball up so well, it's so hard to react to that curveball down. And we saw not focused on the fastball up, fouled off one, but couldn't get to that curveball down as well.
So McElpatrick at the plate after a walk and a ground out in his 2 appearances thus far.
Yeah, McElpatrick, a guy who got a little hot in that Illinois series, needs to pick it up and stay hot here after being cold before.
Carter Monk delivers another strike there to the outside part of the plate. Not much McElpatrick could do with that one. And Monk at just 66 pitches will have an opportunity to keep going if he can keep throwing strikes. And now McFatrick grounds this one to short. Going to be a tough play for Lawrence, but he makes the throw in time. Incredible defense from Luke Lawrence.
Yeah, polar opposites from the two guys we mentioned, their defense at the top. We saw Preston not make an error in the top half. This time Luke Lawrence makes a Sports Center level play in the bottom half. Good job going to his left, slides into that one. The ball didn't get super deep on him, but kind of had to put his body at a weird angle and able to lift himself up and throw a rocket over there. Time to get a pretty fast Owen McElpatrick.
Lawrence just a really good athlete. He was his Catholic League's hockey MVP in high school from Evergreen Park in the Chicago area, attended Brother Rice High School.
Huh, did not know that.
So perhaps some family in attendance today, and they just saw him make a web gym. And Freeman pops this one up. Contreras going to try to chase it, but it will travel out of play, foul.
Nearly hit a fan off the ricochet. Looked like it missed one of the cameramen by about 1.5 feet. So dangerous swing there from Jackson Freeman.
And Freeman's bat usually dangerous heading in the right direction in play, but he's 0 for 2 today. Takes this pitch inside for ball 2.
Yeah, that time Monk just kind of lost the curveball a little bit. Never a competitive pitch. Just buried it.
But he's a couple strikes away from hanging a 0 in the bottom of the 5th, and maybe his day can even keep going from there. He's at 70 pitches. Now misses inside again. So 3-1 count to Freeman.
Yeah, tugged on that fastball, brought it inside, low and in, which is not where he's been working it mostly. Kind of overthrowing a little bit here.
So the 3-1 to Freeman, he swings through it, and so it'll be a full count. It looked like that ball was pretty solidly out of the zone, but he couldn't lay off.
Yeah, an awkward kind of defensive swing that you don't see from a guy as good as Jackson Freeman very often on a fastball that never really had a chance. I'm not sure exactly what he was doing.
Now Monk has a chance to get out of the inning, but he will not. Freeman takes inside, and so a 2-out walk from Carter Monk will bring Bennett Markinson to the plate.
Yeah, Jackson Freeman's so patient. We didn't see it on the pitch before where he swung in a pitch out of the zone, but does a good job holding off and takes another walk to add to his team lead.
Yeah, you love a guy who can both hit for power and does an excellent job of getting on base with walks, leads the team in both of those categories. And now Bennett Markinson, a hitter you want up in this situation with a runner on and 2 outs. He's 1 for 2 today, reached on an error and then had a single, and that reach on an error turned out to be very consequential. He'll come around to score. Now Freeman trying to make it to second on the wild pitch, and he is safe. So heads up base running from Jackson Freeman.
Yeah, dangerous play from Jackson Freeman. Saw the ball in the dirt. Great block by Contreras, but the throw kind of ran up line on him, and Kubo had to leap to get that ball, and because of the jump, could not get the tag down on a diving Jackson Freeman.
And now Markinson going to pop this one up on the infield. Shai Robinson looks like he's under it, and he will be for the 3rd out of the bottom of the 5th. And so Illinois State will maintain its 5-4 lead heading in to the top of the 6th. Yeah, producing ranked wins in all of his first 6 seasons, including last Friday against Indiana State on a walk-off from Daniel Pasella, who we have not seen in the lineup today, missing apparently his first game of the season. But his team is still taking a 5-4 lead without him, and JT Sokolov at the plate. And strike 1, Luke Beneke came in the top of the 5th, struggled a bit. JT Sokolov has a hit and a walk, and not able to get his conference-leading 17 stolen base toke as he was caught stealing for the first time by Bennett Markinson earlier in this game. First time all season that Sokolov has been caught stealing.
Yeah, and talk about back to Steve Holm for a second. Has not lost 3 in a row all season this year. Illinois State lost the last 2 coming in, so a loss here would be the 3rd in a row. But a really good job. You can tell a good coach when he can right the ship quickly. You don't want to see those losing streaks pile up. He does have a 7-game winning streak, another sign of a good coach playing the momentum and not letting the momentum get to him.
JT Sokolov will play the momentum of this ball out to right field, but Jackson Freeman is under it for out number 1. And so JT Sokolov retired for the first time in today's game, and Luke Beneke gets the leadoff man. That's got to feel good after some struggles in the top of the 5th. And Illinois State comes into this game with a 20-17 record. So 3 games over 500. They're 8-7 in the Missouri Valley Conference. That would currently put them safely in to the conference tournament as the top 8 make the conference tournament. They're currently tied for 4th. And this season, when they lead after 5 innings, they are 18-3. So Northwestern going to have to try to reverse that trend today if they're going to come back and get a win. And that ball misses low and in the dirt. So 2-1 is the count to Contreras, who had a single in his last time up that scored a couple of runs.
Yeah, Beneke has been good so far locating pitches, 13 strikes on 21 pitches, but gets another strike there. Missed on that fastball on the 1-1 pitch, kind of low, but control hasn't been an issue for him today, which is not usually the case. Usually that's his main issue.
And now the count is full, 3-2 to Contreras. So a big pitch here for Luke Beneke, the senior right-hander. Delivers, and that ball grounded up the middle. Livermore is there, throws across the diamond, and that is out number 2 of the inning. Some nice defense shown by the senior shortstop.
Yeah, good job by Livermore. Throw that one on the run, kind of across his body. Kind of a tough angle, bounced it a little bit, but Trent Liokois scooped it without too much issue. And did have the advantage of throwing against the catcher. Doesn't have a lot of speed, but still a nice play regardless. And Beneke, a good job to locate that pitch in the zone and get that out.
Luke Lawrence, a guy who does have a lot of speed, and he has a single today as well, but swing and a miss here on the first pitch. A great one by Luke Beneke.
Yeah, Beneke's really been, his best pitch so far has been that changeup to the lefty. Kind of gotten a couple of silly-looking swings. Tried it again there, just missed. But he's really been locating that well so far today.
And 1-1 the count to Lawrence, as Beneke's been much cleaner here in the top of the 6th. As the wind picking up a little bit again here in Miller Park, with Illinois State leading 5-4 in a big midweek game for both teams. Coming off series losses a weekend ago, you really want this one to build momentum moving into your next conference series. And a swing and a miss there from Lawrence.
Yet again on the changeup. Also, it's worth noting Luke Beneke only charged with 2 out of 3 runs earned, as the single and error, the guy was deemed he would not have scored.
And on the appeal to the third base ump, they say he did not go, but a good pitch from Luke Beneke with 2 strikes, but now the count is full to Lawrence.
Yeah, I would not be shocked to see him go back to the changeup. Good call by the ump. Did not look like Lawrence went around.
And now Lawrence fouls this one off to stay alive, so we'll do it again.
Beneke did go back to the changeup, kind of left that one a little too much of the plate. I would guess that he's going to go back to the changeup here. It's been his best pitch so far. Going to try to hit this one out and away. Oh, and Markinson set up inside.
And he'll deliver, and that will be a walk, and Luke Lawrence is moving to first base.
Yeah, went with the fastball. Markinson set up inside. Beneke missed outside, had a little bit of 2-seam sinker action on it that took it out of the zone. And, yeah, Lawrence got down there in a hurry.
I've seen a couple Illinois State guys do that today, sprinting to first base on the walk, but the 2-out walk will bring Luke Stolga to the plate, hit a ball deep to right center for a double earlier in this game.
Yeah, and Stolga coming into today was 9 of 21 at the plate over his last few games, 1 for 3 here today. Beneke should look to pitch him inside. That's where Dyke had success against him. And does so right there.
Just misses, so it's a 2-0 count. And after Beneke got a couple quick outs, now facing some tension here in the top of the 6th. That one inside. Oh, they're going to say it clipped him off the elbow, and so 2 runners aboard with 2 outs for Judah Morris. And a walk and a hit by pitch is not what you want to do with 2 outs.
No, and I was just talking about how Beneke's control had been pretty good so far today. That one tucked in, probably clipped him on the elbow. Just a slight tap, but that's all you need.
Yeah, we see
there
it there.
you go,
Great
right off
camera
the
angle.
jersey almost.
Yeah, that one's frustrating for Beneke because it wasn't even off the plate that much, but leads to a runner on. And, in fact, there are two of those. First and second for Judah Morris, and now Vince Bianchina going to come over and talk to Luke Beneke for just a second, tell him what he's seeing.
Yeah, and that walk you don't love to see, but that hit by pitch, you can live with that. As Ben Greenspan, Beneke, Markinson, you want to pitch Stolga inside. We saw Jack Dyke have success with those fastballs up and in because Stolga's right over top of the plate, and Beneke attempted to do that. It was not a horrible pitch, a little inside, and just barely clipped him. So as far as hit by pitches go, you're going to live with that one as a coach and a pitcher, but still not the ideal.
And now this one misses inside as well, so 2-0 to Judah Morris. He's been trying to pound that half of the plate inside to right-handed hitters, but has been missing it in the last couple batters.
Yeah, and works well with his two-seam action. Should get some jam shots like that one.
And Liokois looks like he's under this infield pop-up, and he will be for the third out of the inning. And so no runs in the top of the sixth for Illinois State. Solid inning for Luke Beneke, and Northwestern will head into the bottom of the sixth looking to tie this game. The Redbirds trying to get revenge for a loss earlier in the season here at Miller Park.
Yeah, in that game, Northwestern pitching was really sharp, and we've seen ups and downs from both arms so far today. Both Dyke and Beneke have allowed 2 earned runs. Beneke allowed 1 earned as well, and Dyke really sharp with his pitch sequencing. He had a lot of good off-speed working and then really worked that fastball top of the zone, got a lot of swings and misses for strike 3. 5 strikeouts on the day for Jack Dyke. Beneke had his control working early, kind of lost it there at the end of the inning, but able to get out of the top of the sixth with a pop-up to Trent Liokois at first.
Now Trent Liokois works a 2-1 count. Had a double off the wall earlier in this game. That was a key part of Northwestern's 4-run bottom of the second. Ball banged off the wall just a couple feet from a home run. And now he's ahead 3-1. Facing a right-hander is the left-handed Liokois, and he'll take the walk. And so Thomas Harper puts the leadoff man on. And after Carter Monk showed some really solid control, Thomas Harper not able to replicate that in his first batter faced.
Yeah, good patience from Trent Liokois. Walks are down this year despite more plate appearances, but good job there to not expand the zone. Took a fastball right at the knees, a good layoff, and then ball 4 was not that close, and good job not to get too baseball happy.
And now Griffin Arnone, a guy who got going last weekend with 4 hits and 3 RBIs. Well, he has a couple RBIs today as well on a big single that scored 2 in that bottom of the second. But he falls down 0-1 here.
And that,
now 0-2.
That single gave him a hit for the 5th straight game, which did set his season high of a hit streak. He also leads the team in stolen bases with 5, although 4 came in the first 8 games and only 1 stolen base since then.
He fouls this one off his own body, so a painful strike, but he stays alive. And Griffin Arnone led this team in home runs a year ago, led the team in OPS in Big Ten play, hit 890 OPS in the conference. Trying to get going this year, and last weekend was a promising sign, but he's down 0-2 here, fouls another one off, so spoiling a couple good pitches.
Yeah, OPS down, slug down, average down from last year, but the on-base percentage still sitting at 362, a really good number, especially as Northwestern's had him hit in the 9th spot for a lot of the season up until this past weekend. And what you want in the 9th spot is a guy who can turn the lineup over and really create and set the table for the guys at the top of your lineup, Preston Knott, Owen McElpatrick, Jackson Freeman. And Arnone had done a great job of it, and now hitting so well that he gets moved up into the 6th and in the RBI spot where he's got to drive in those bats in the middle.
And he fouls off another one, so he's really making Thomas Harper work in this at-bat. And Arnone likes facing Illinois State, had a hit, a walk, and an RBI in the first meeting between these two teams. And as we just told you, a couple RBIs today as well.
Yeah, and really has had good plate appearances across the board, seeing the ball well, did fly out to right on a laser back in the third.
And now he hits this one to center. JT Sokolov goes back. He's at the track, but that ball is gone, and Griffin Arnone gives Northwestern the lead back 6-5 on a huge 2-run shot to left.
Yeah, 4th home run of the year for Griffin Arnone, and that one caught that wind tunnel that we've mentioned a couple times. That one off the bat, Sokolov camped under it, looked like he had it, then started sprinting back into left center where that wind is pushing it, and gets a little lucky, but a good barrel on that bat, really gets the bat head down and puts it up into the sky and plays the field and lets the wind take it. And just like that, Northwestern back in front.
The senior from New Canaan, Connecticut, transferred from Elon before last season, gets a huge homer. And Northwestern back in the lead 6-5. You got to think this is a pressure-packed game for this team. They're on a 4-game losing streak, facing a strong Big Ten foe this weekend against Purdue. You don't want to carry a losing streak into that one. But Griffin Arnone delivers in a pressure moment. And now Vince Bianchina at the plate. He falls behind 0-2 in the count, but nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, and especially Northwestern has struggled at times against their midweek non-conference opponents, and non-power conference too. They lost badly to Illinois Chicago 2 weeks ago on this very field, 17-5. A few weeks before that, were killed by Northern Illinois, 17-7, as Vince Bianchina goes down swinging. But really needs to right the ship in the midweek and let the midweek set the stage for the weekend, which is where it really counts.
Well, and you see in the way that Ben Greenspan has used weekend arms in the midweek games, he really values these. He wants to get wins, and obviously over an in-state opponent as well in Illinois State. Northwestern won the first meeting between these two teams 5-1 back in February, an impromptu scheduled game in which Northwestern's pitchers had one of their best games of the season. 9 strikeouts, no walks. Haven't been as clean today, but the Cats have brought the bat. And now Marty Kaplan gets hit, and so he'll head to first with still just 1 out.
Yeah, Marty Kaplan now reached twice, walked back in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th, and now hit by a pitch here in the 6th. So a solid day at the plate for Kaplan. Hasn't put a ball in play yet, but has reached in 2 out of 3 plate appearances.
And Tony Livermore to the plate, the senior shortstop who made a nice defensive play in the last inning, has an RBI today. A good piece of hitting on a ground out, just put the ball in play, and that allowed a run to score. Had a really tough start to the season, but has found some momentum of late with the bat. Got going in the series finale against Penn State a few weeks ago with 2 hits, and then had a walk-off against Maryland in the Friday game in the last home series for Northwestern. And that was just a really cool moment. Obviously, Northwestern needed the win. They were riding a long losing streak. But for the senior shortstop, a 4-year player for the Cats, to get that done was easily the highlight of the season in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. And just in such a pressure-packed game, the first Big Ten win of this season on your home turf, and just a great piece of hitting on that one by Livermore, driving one deep, got almost to the wall on that walk-off a few weeks ago. Would have been extra bases in a non-walk-off situation.
He fouls this one off to even the count, 2-2. 1 out and a runner on. That would be Marty Kaplan. And behind Livermore, they'll turn over the order to Preston Knott.
Livermore guy 0 for 8 on the weekend.
And he grounds this one. Thomas Harper handles it, throws over to first, gets Livermore, but it does advance Marty Kaplan to second, and so a runner in scoring position for Preston Knott.
Yeah, Livermore now 0 of his last 10, dating back to the Friday game against Illinois, but has had some productive at-bats, 0 for last 11, but had some productive at-bats, had an RBI ground out in the 2nd inning here today, and then just moved a runner over right there. So he's not bumping the average up, but he's producing for the lineup, which you need from those bats at the bottom.
And Preston Knott, we've said it every time he's been up, he's riding a 10-game hitting streak. Has an RBI today, but hasn't been able to extend that hitting streak to 11. Has been Northwestern's best hitter over the last few weeks, and now we're going to have a pinch runner as Griffin Mills will come on for Marty Kaplan and head to second base.
Yeah.
Freshman for freshman there.
Yeah, not sure what Bond's that decision. I am not sure on the speed differential. I don't think either of them has stolen a base, but clearly Greenspan sees something. He wants Mills out there at second and in the lineup for the rest of the game.
And so Preston Knott, runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Northwestern trying to add to its 6-5 lead here in the bottom of the 6th. After a Griffin Arnone 2-run shot, now Knott pops this one up on the infield. Looks like Lawrence is under it, has to range back and make the catch. And so that'll do it for the 6th inning, but not before Northwestern takes a 6-5 lead on a 2-run shot from Griffin Arnone. And now Illinois State will try to get back in this game. Let's take another look at Arnone's bomb, which just kept on carrying once it got into that Evanston air.
Yeah, just a good swing by Arnone. Popped that one up, hit it deep, and let the wind take it. And we head to the top of the 7th, Northwestern with a lead again.
Trying to protect that lead here in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, Northwestern 9-1 when leading after 6, and Illinois State only 2-14 when trailing after 6. Juxtapose that with their 18-3 record when leading after 5, and you've got 2 numbers that are gonna. One of them is gonna change because they can't win this game and lose this game. Although the numbers would indicate that they would win after 5 and lose after 6.
Yeah, that's a good point. A weird dichotomy there. Obviously, it seems like if they can get off to a good start, then the Redbirds have done a good job of protecting those leads, but have not been able to claw back in the later innings. Did get a walk-off win in their last victory. That would be last Friday against number 22 Indiana State. So the 0-2 to Rabin, and he pops this one up, foul.
Yeah, not Beneke's best pitch. Rabin able to get a barrel on it, just kind of pulled it. Foul was way out in front of it. Beneke probably wants to keep this one down, keep the ball in the park, given the wind that's blown out.
And now gets Rabin swinging on the off-speed stuff, and Bennett Markinson will apply the tag just to be safe, but 1 out in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, good pitch by Beneke. Played off the fastball up in the zone, threw the off-speed down, and Rabin swings over top.
That sequencing you were talking about for Jack Dyke earlier, Luke Beneke trying to repeat that. And after giving up 3 runs, 2 of them earned in the top of the 5th. Hung a 0 last inning, starts this inning with a strikeout.
Now gets to face Shaden Kubo, who's 0 of his last 7.
Kubo grounds this one down the third baseline, but foul. And so now he's 0-1. And as you said, Kubo's struggling at the plate. 0 for 3 today, including a strikeout.
And Beneke, beautiful pitch there. Got the sword of Kubo. Kind of finding the zone again here in the 3rd after he lost it here in his 3rd inning of work after he lost it towards the end of that 6th inning with a walk and a hit by pitch.
Looking for a 2nd consecutive strikeout, and he'll get it. Got Kubo looking, ring him up, and Luke Beneke back-to-back strikeouts here in the top of the 7th.
And Northwestern just threw the ball into center field, but beautiful curveball. Markinson set up more on the outside of the plate, but a good job by Beneke to get sharp break on that pitch, and Kubo was frozen.
And now faces Shy Robinson, who had a home run to start the scoring in today's game in the top of the 2nd. And Luke Beneke tried to keep the ball down and away against him. It was an up and in pitch that Robinson took for a ride to left earlier in this game.
Also walked and came around to score in the 4th inning for Illinois State's 2nd run.
So 1-0 count to Robinson from Beneke, who struck out the first 2 batters here in the top of the 7th.
And Shy Robinson just called time pretty late. Beneke had made his step into his motion right around the exact same time Robinson calls time, but umpire Thomas Burrell Jr. grants him the timeout. And so we'll redo pitch number 2 of the at-bat.
Beneke working a good inning so far, but now facing a good hitter. And that'll be a strike, says the first base ump. Robinson did indeed go around.
That was a great off-speed pitch right in under the hands of Robinson.
And now gets the foul ball there for strike number 2. Robinson barely tipped it.
Back-to-back off-speed by Beneke. Would not be shocked to see him go to that 2-seam/sinker and drop that one right by Robinson's back foot on the inside corner.
Beneke, the 1-2 to Robinson. And that one misses away. And so that'll even the count, 2-2.
Yeah, went with the curveball out of the zone, keeping it away from Robinson's bat.
2-2. Grounded to Livermore. He fields it cleanly across the first, and that'll do it for the top of the 7th. No hits, no errors for Northwestern there, and Luke Beneke hangs a couple zeros in a row. Northwestern will look to add to their lead in the bottom of the 7th. Four home runs allowed this season for Kubatowicz. 341 average against, and now that pitch gets away from him for ball number 1. McElpatrick has a walk today, but otherwise 0 for 2. Looking to build on a strong series against Illinois after he'd had a couple of rougher weekends, but all in all, certainly one of Northwestern's best hitters and a guy they're really going to need this weekend as they face Purdue.
Yeah, it just looks like he's pressing a little bit here today. He's kind of lunging for some of these pitches, getting out on the front foot. He's rolled over a couple times, once to second, once to third. He's really got to sit back into that power. He's got a ton of it. 10 doubles, 5 home runs. Swings and misses at that one, but he's really got to sit back into that power and not go reach out and extend for those pitches on low in the zone especially. Those are the ones he's been rolling over.
He was sending ball after ball over the wall in warm-ups, though, and now he works his way to a full count, does McElpatrick, as Eric Kubatowicz, the senior right-hander from Oakdale, Minnesota, looks to keep Illinois State attached in this game. Another multi-sport athlete is Kubatowicz, and now McElpatrick drives this one down the right field line, but that'll carry foul and out of play. But Kubatowicz had a hat trick in his hockey senior night in high school.
A lot of hockey players on this Illinois State roster.
And while he's from Minnesota, there's a lot of players from Illinois as well. 15 by my count on the Redbirds roster. Now McElpatrick facing a full count, pops this one up. Kubo will range back in to right field, and he'll make the catch for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, McElpatrick just gets under that one, drops the bat head a little too much, and pops it more or less straight up in the air. Got about 150 feet up there. Didn't go, probably went about 150 feet as well. So a lot of launch angle on that one. Maybe a little too much.
And Kubatowicz retires the first batter he faces. And now Jackson Freeman to the plate. 0 for 2 today, but does have a walk. And now swings and misses at the first pitch.
Kind of flailed at that one. Didn't look like he really knew what he wanted to do. And swung. Wasn't a competitive swing. Freeman, a guy who at the end of the first Illinois State game, all the way back in February, was only hitting 158 and had not homered. A little bit of a freshman welcome to college moment for him. But since that game, his season's turned around. His batting average now at 270, second on the team in OPS, first on the team in slug. Has 8 home runs to lead the Wildcats. So putting together a pretty impressive freshman season since that game.
Yeah, leading the team in home runs and walks. High on base percentage and slugging percentage, but swings at strike 2 there. But the freshman from Ladera Ranch got going in the Nebraska series and has just kept it going for the most part since then. But now he'll go down swinging, and Kubatowicz gets the strikeout, and he continues to get quite a few punch-outs on the season, make that 16.
Yeah, and that's, again, a pretty uncompetitive swing from Freeman. His second strikeout swing today. And to be honest, this is about as bad as I've seen Freeman at the plate all year. He's kind of flailing at a lot of these pitches. He's not close to almost any of them. We saw even in that bat he walked. He kind of swung at a pitch well out of the zone. And also 2 strikeouts, pretty uncommon for Freeman, but just kind of struggling a little bit. He was 0 for 11 over the weekend, so now 0 for his last 14.
Yeah.
Pretty extended slump right there.
Yeah, I said he had kept it going to the Nebraska series. That came to a screeching halt against Illinois, but he'll look to recover before the Purdue home series this weekend, starting with a Friday night game at Wrigley Field for the Wildcats. And now Bennett Markinson works his way to a 3-0 count after he's been on base a couple times today, and now hits this one to third. Shai Robinson fields it cleanly, now throws it across the diamond, and on the hop, Judah Morris makes the catch for the third out, and a nice piece of infield defense there for the Redbirds. And no base runners in the bottom of the 7th for Northwestern. Solid inning for Eric Kubatowicz of Illinois State. Eight more today through 7 innings, and Luke Beneke struggled a bit in the top of the 5th, and then 2 consecutive scoreless innings pitched. He's starting to find his groove, and now gets a swing and a miss from Rasmussen.
I can't talk enough about how good that changeup to those lefties have been. Just burying that pitch, got a lot of late movement on it. Tried it again right there, just missed, but he's really working that pitch, throwing it pretty consistently, pretty often. It's been the first pitch to a lot of these lefties, and he's finding that outside corner and sometimes off the plate, but getting swings and misses.
Rasmussen, the senior right fielder from Blair, Nebraska, looks at strike 2. So the count is 1-2. He was the only Redbird to start all 50 games a year ago, was second in average and on the All-Missouri Valley Conference defensive team. We made a nice defensive play earlier in this game, but he is 0 for 3 at the plate.
Yeah, and Rasmussen also had 25 stolen bases last year, most by an Illinois State player since 2014, and led the Missouri Valley Conference. Only has not stolen a base this year, 0 for 2. So speed has kind of abandoned him late in his career, but was one of only 8 players nationally last season with hit over 300 at the plate with 10 homers, 29 or more extra base hits, and 25 or more stolen bases.
That's a great line for Augie Rasmussen. Now he grounds his one to first. Trent Liokois will take care of it by himself for the first out in the 8th.
Yeah, good pitch by Beneke. Just gets Rasmussen to roll over that one. Just tried to pull it. Should have tried to punch it the other way on the outside corner and bounces it to Liokois for the easy play.
And JT Sokolov takes the plate for Illinois State. Has a walk and a single in today's game. Quite a few defensive plays as well, including some that seem to be well out of his area. But he takes strike 1. And Luke Beneke continuing to get ahead in these counts and working both sides of the plate.
And with Daniel Pasella hitting the bench today, that leaves JT Sokolov as the only Illinois State player to start every single baseball game this season.
Sokolov came into this game leading the Missouri Valley Conference in stolen bases. Now he'll go down swinging. And 2 away in the top of the 8th is Luke Beneke trotting around the mound. He's feeling good, and he should be.
Yeah, that's just beautiful. Pulled the string on Sokolov. You'll see it right here. That curveball just bottomed out. Sokolov thought he had it lined up, and it just dropped out. You can see that smile on his face. He knew it was dirty. He thought it was the third out. He started walking towards the dugout and backpedaled a bit.
Well, when you're mowing him down like he is, it's easy to get lost in the game, but does deal a first pitch ball here to Contreras. Got a single to score a couple runs earlier in the game. Now fouls this one off for strike 1.
Yeah, Contreras had a 6-game hit streak earlier this year, but got broken up a few weeks ago, and since then, just 3 of 14.
Did have a hit in the first meeting between these two teams as he fouls that one out of play down the right field line. So 1-2 the count, and Contreras behind Beneke, who's looking to work another scoreless frame. The 1-2, just high.
And one thing I just noticed, Contreras, when less than 2 strikes, is standing about even like normal in the batter's box. With 2 strikes, he really crowds the plate, gets right up on top of it, presumably to shortens his swing, but is able to get his hands inside. But just an interesting adjustment with 2 strikes for Contreras there. He's got his toes on the white of the batter's box on the inside, really making Beneke work.
And he hits .333 with 2 outs. Lost this one foul. Is it going to stay in play? Looks like Bianchina is over there. Now Livermore will come on to make the catch, and that'll do it for the top of the 8th. Luke Beneke, 3 consecutive zeros on the scoreboard, and Northwestern will take its 6-5 lead into the bottom of the 8th. Yeah, came into this game with a 14.46 ERA, but I think that's deceptive to how good a pitcher he can be. And one mark of that was the 15 strikeouts he had entering the game as well. And he was able to add another one in the bottom of the 7th, and now gets a strike on Liokois, so 1-1 the count.
Yeah, the senior took a little bit of time to find his footing, but in the last couple of outings, he's been very efficient, very effective after a pretty poor start to the season, allowing 13 earned and only 4.1 innings.
And it shows a lot of trust to put him in this situation. Liokois hit a ball hard earlier in this game, off the wall for a double that put a couple runners in scoring position. Both those runners would then come around to score on a Griffin Arnone single.
Liokois also has a walk today, so he's 1 for 2, reached twice.
He works his way to a full count. So Kubatowicz trying to avoid allowing his first base runner of the game, and he will, as that ball misses down. And so Liokois draws the walk, and Griffin Arnone steps to the plate. He's having a heck of a day.
Yeah, Arnone really been solid today. 2 for 3. Had a home run back in the 6th that gave Northwestern the lead that they had previously relinquished. Also had a 2 RBI single. So he's got 4 of the Cats' 6 RBIs today, and really making an impact in that 6th hole.
And now he has a runner on with nobody out. Fouls that one down the third base line for strike 1.
Yeah,
so
still on it even with that foul ball. Just barreled to it a little bit late, but still impressive to get that bat on that pitch.
Couple RBIs on Sunday, now 4 more today. So that's 6 RBIs in the last 2 games for the senior Griffin Arnone. An excellent sign for Northwestern, a guy they needed to find the barrel, and he has. Big development heading into the second half of Big Ten play. And now rips this one foul into the Illinois State dugout. That was a warning shot.
Yeah, and that 4 RBIs matches his season high going back to March 20th at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, where he actually homered twice in that game.
And now takes ball 1 high. Yeah, coming into the game, 2 of his 3 home runs were in that one Corpus Christi game back in March. And so had to be nice for him to see one go over the wall today. But he's down 1-2 to Kubatowicz. And now check swing on the appeal. They're going to say that he did not, or yes, that he did go.
Yeah,
and
no
so
appeal.
there's the strikeout. Sorry.
Yeah, Burrell decided on his own that he went, and probably a good call. Get another look at it from the side. Yeah, that bat definitely broke the plane. Great pitch by Kubatowicz, just bottom out. And Arnone wasn't happy with himself for swinging at that pitch, or offering at it, since it wasn't a full swing.
But Kubatowicz, a couple Ks already today. Vince Bianchina tries to lay down the bunt. Instead, he pops it up in our direction. Foul.
Bianchina broke his 0 for 10 slump from the weekend with a single back in the 2nd. Did not drive in a run, moved Arnone to 3rd, where he would eventually come around to score.
Yeah, that was a couple hits right up the middle in a row for Northwestern.
Yeah, back-to-back pitches, I believe. But Bianchina does have 7 strikeouts in his last 4 games, including today. So swing and miss lately, but needs to put a ball in play here, move a guy over, and set up Northwestern to drive a guy in with Griffin Mills standing in on deck for his first at-bat.
Pops this one foul.
Back towards us. Thought I might have a play.
You might have heard the thud through our microphones as it landed pretty much right on top of us on the roof.
If not for this netting that drops over our heads, I would be very excited to make a play up here, but no chance at it unless it drops through the ceiling.
Yeah, netting surrounding Rocky and Bernice Miller Park.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
Safety measures, but disappointing to me, a former baseball player, to not have a chance to make a play up in the booth.
And for those who came out to tonight's game, really nice weather. Chill's starting to come into the air just a bit, but overall it's just been beautiful. And Vince Bianchina goes down swinging, chases that one out of the zone, and Kubatowicz, 3 strikeouts already.
Yeah, Kubatowicz really working his pitch as well. That time goes with the fastball up. Bianchina chased that one pretty far out of the zone, didn't really have a shot at him getting the bat to it at all. That's his 8th strikeout in the last 4 games as he continues his 1-for-15 slump. 1-for-14, excuse me.
And now Griffin Mills swings at the first pitch. And it'll be an 0-1 count. Griffin Mills pinch ran for Marty Kaplan and now steps to the plate. Was struggling to start this season, but then had a huge 2-run homer to tie the Sunday game against Maryland in Northwestern's last home game. And he'll look to build on that momentum today.
Yeah, only not quite hitting 100 here, but in that game, struck out in his first plate appearance, also a pinch hit appearance. That extended his 0-for to 0-for-20.
And now Liokois is running, and he's going to be in there safely, but nearly falls off the bag, able to recover. And so Trent Liokois, the first baseman, gets a steal here.
Yeah, Liokois 0-for-1 on the air, but that time had a great jump. You see takes off before that pitch was even thrown. Had a good read on Kubatowicz, who got a little predictable. But back to Griffin Mills, struck out in the 6th in that game, back Maryland, the last time Northwestern was at home. Extended his 0-for to 0-for-20, but hit a 2-out, 2-strike home run.
And Griffin Mills strikes out looking, and Kubatowicz 4 strikeouts in 2 scoreless innings. And Illinois State will have a chance to tie this game heading to the top of the 9th here on Big Ten Plus. And take another look at that strikeout. Just freezes the freshman Mills, does Kubatowicz. We'll be right back for the top of the 9th. And this one is lined down the left field line, just foul. So Northwestern catches a break as that one off the bat of Luke Lawrence was potentially headed for extra bases, but just hooked at the last moment.
Yeah, not a great pitch to start it off by McClure. Kind of leave that one over the plate, belt high, right where you want to see it if you're trying to drive a ball the other way. And Lawrence misses that one by about 4 feet. It would have been extra bases and runner in scoring position to tie the game.
Instead, just a long strike and an 0-1 count. Lawrence has a single earlier in this game, and that pitch just misses outside.
You can see Matt McClure on the bump, likes to get a couple of bounces up and down as he comes set. That really lets him get into his legs and get velo on that fastball.
And now this one singled right up the middle, and so the tying run is aboard for Illinois State here in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, really nice day from Luke Lawrence. That time really just barreling it up, send it right back where it came from. But now reached 4 out of 5 appearances. Luke Lawrence 2 singles, 2 walks. You can see fastball up in the zone. Lawrence gets on top of it and drives it right near McClure's feet. Lucky that didn't hit him in a dangerous part of the body.
And now faces Luke Stolga, 1 for 3 today. Also has a hit by pitch, but that one hit was a deep drive to right center for a double. And now this one, ground ball, double play opportunity. They get the runner at second, but not able to make the double turn at first. But still, the ground ball erases the runner at second. And so 1 on and 1 out for Illinois State here at the top of the 9th.
Yeah, that ball wasn't hit very hard. Would have been a tough play to turn 2 on, and Livermore kind of got it caught up in his glove as he tried to make that quick flip. Didn't get a lot of velocity on it, which is probably for the best. You don't want to risk overthrowing McElpatrick there, but as a result, Luke Stolga reaches base.
So 1 on, 1 out for Judah Morris, the first baseman, and he takes ball 1 low. Has reached a couple times today, once on a hit by pitch, once on a walk, but 0 for 2 in his other 2 plate appearances.
A dangerous hitter here, can score that runner from first with ease, leads his conference in doubles, which would score a run given the situation, and also adds 6 home runs and a triple for a total of 22 extra base hits.
And the strike from McClure on the off speed evens the count at 1-1. And now this one fouled back, 1-2. A ground ball in that same spot to Livermore could potentially end this game with a runner on first and 1 out.
And Morris not packing a ton of speed in that big frame of his.
So a huge moment for Northwestern, looking to pick up their 13th win of the season and snap a 4-game losing streak. They turn to one of their best pitchers on the season, looking for his first save opportunity. Now this one driven foul down the right field line. So Morris stays alive.
Good job by Morris. That one got deep on him quickly, but he drops the hands back a little extra and able to punch it foul out of play and give himself another pitch.
And McClure will deal the 1-2 to Morris. This one grounded into left for a single, and so now 2 runners on and 1 out. And a good piece of hitting there from Judah Morris.
Yeah, Bianchina kind of hugging the line there, had shifted over before that pitch about 2 or 3 steps, and Morris hits it right where he wasn't and tucks it in between, in the 6 hole between short and third. Good job getting on top of it, hitting it hard, as Bianchina was really like 2 steps off the line there, a little too far over, and now Illinois State with a runner in scoring position for their 4 and 5 hitters.
And 3 balls hit on the ground in this inning, but 2 of them have gotten into the outfield for base hits. And so now 2 runners on, 1 out, and a pinch runner comes on for the Redbirds, standing on first.
Blake Stanger has 4 stolen bases in 4 attempts, so packs some speed, and Illinois State clearly looking to score off a double here, score him from first off a double, and if not, if he ends up at second base, to score on a single without too much of a challenge.
First pitch strike there from McClure on the fastball to the lefty Rabin. And now Rabin fouls this one off, and so McClure is ahead 0-2.
Yeah, good pitch by McClure. Kind of buried that pitch down and in, and Rabin was late on it and pounded it down into the plate.
Yeah, he's clearly trying to get to that half of the plate against the lefty Rabin. So the 0-2 with 1 out, 2 runners on. And a swing and a miss for the second out of the inning. And Northwestern is 1 out away from a win.
Yeah, huge pitch there. McClure pulled the string on Rabin. Rabin did get a piece of it, tipped it, but Markinson was able to pull it up, catch it in the air off the ground before it hit the ground, and get that second out.
So Shaden Kubo comes to plate 0 for 4 today. And McClure looking to make it 0 for 5 and close this game out. And that in there for a first pitch strike on the off speed.
Yeah, rough day for Kubo, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Does have an RBI ground out back in the 5th inning, that 3-run inning that Beneke allowed, but not his best day at the plate.
And this one grounded foul down the right field line, so 0-2. Northwestern 1 strike away from snapping a 4-game losing streak.
But Illinois State just 1 base hit away from tying this game.
And that is the moment we face here. McClure pitching to Kubo, 0-2, 2 outs. Both dugouts clapping it up. Biggest moment of the game, and just off the plate for ball 1.
And we get to do it again. Good miss there from McClure. You don't want to overthrow it a little, trying to get that final strike, but you don't want to give him anything near the zone on 0-2.
Good velo on the fastball there, down and away. But Kubo lays off. And now the 1-2. 2 outs, 2 runners on. Top of the 9th, and that one misses down and away. Nearly gets away from Markinson, but he tracks it down, so both runners were hold and evens the count, 2-2.
Yeah, not a bad pitch by McClure. Again, way ahead in the count like that. Bury a curveball, see if you can get a swing. Good job by Markinson. Smart decision out at second base by Luke Stolga. No reason to take third. You're going to score on a base hit no matter what.
So the 2-2 to Kubo. Grounds this one up the middle. Livermore not able to get there in time, and that'll score a run to tie today's game, 6-6. And a huge piece of hitting from Shaden Kubo, one that just got away from the outstretched glove of Tony Livermore.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of ground balls get through the infield here in this 9th inning. That one, the softest hit of them by far, but just squeaked in between Livermore and Mako Fatrick, who both looked like they might have had a chance to at least stop it on the infield and prevent the run from scoring. That one bounced a couple times and just evaded both gloves. Livermore with the dive. McElpatrick standing up, and it kind of split the difference and went over Livermore under McElpatrick, and this game's tied.
And still plenty of danger for McClure facing Shy Robinson, who homered in the second inning, but does get a first pitch strike there.
Yeah, now imperative to end this inning with the game still tied. You don't want to have the risk of losing in the bottom of the ninth.
And just off the plate, he's been working that half of the zone. Outside to the right-handed Shy Robinson.
Yeah, and you don't want to make a mistake to this guy. Already homered today and had a walk as well. You don't want to.
And he hits this ball hard. Griffin Arnone goes back, dives, makes the catch, and that will end the inning. Oh my goodness, Griffin Arnone, fantastic defensive play to stop the Illinois State run, and Northwestern will have a chance to win this game in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, what a play from Griffin Arnone. That ball was pieced off the bat by Shy Robinson. Looked like that might have been extra bases, 2 runs. Arnone, not the best route, kind of started too far in, had to peel off out deep, but what a play to catch up to that one, diving into the wall and saves at least 1, maybe 2 runs and adds to his fantastic day. And Northwestern will have a chance to walk it off when we come back on Big Ten Plus. Three earned runs, allowed 4 hits and 3 walks.
And a first pitch ball to Tony Livermore. The 3 due up here in the bottom of the ninth for Northwestern. Tony Livermore, Preston Knott, Owen McElpatrick. They're combined 0 for 9 today, and if you add Jackson Freeman, he would be 4th. He's 0 for 3 as well, so combined 0 for 12. But some very good hitters amongst that group, and they'll look to be the hero today.
And also a bat we've seen be clutch in only a few weeks ago, and Tony Livermore.
Not a power hitter, but somebody who knows how to get on base, and if he can do that here, would make the job a lot easier for Knott and McElpatrick et al.
Yeah, still looking for his first extra base hit this season.
And drives this one into center, but it looks like Sokolov is there, and he will make the catch for the first out of the inning. Pretty good contact from Tony Livermore, but no damage done, and Husak gets the first out of the inning.
Yeah, hit that ball as hard as the hardest ball he's hit today. Just hit it right at Sokolov in center. Not much you can do about that. Good swing from Tony Livermore, and now it'll be up to the top of the lineup. And Preston Knott with his hitting streak on the line, as we've mentioned every time he's come to the plate, but this time it's likely his last at bat.
Better now than never, but goes on the first pitch. Not able to lay off that one in the dirt. Husak pitched 2 2/3 scoreless innings in the first meeting between these two teams. Picked up the win in last Friday's game against Indiana State. That ranked walk-off victory for the Redbirds, as he came on and was able to shut down the Sycamores. And now he'll look to do the same against the Wildcats.
Yeah, and facing a guy in Preston Knott who has not had his best day today. 2 strikeouts, a sac fly, and a pop-up to the shortstop, but as dangerous a hitter as you'll find in this lineup, and somebody who really needs to set the table here in this 9th inning.
Team leader in OPS coming into today's game, and now he's ahead 3-1.
Yeah, good layoff there. That's a competitive pitch from Husak right at the knees, and not doing a good job not to expand the zone.
So the 3-1, Knott will take his base, and the winning run is on first with 1 out for Owen McElpatrick.
Yeah, good job by Preston Knott being patient. Greenspan loves Preston Knott's patience, his ability to work at bats. That time didn't try to do too much. Knew what his job was, had to get on base, and now it's up to the middle of the lineup. McElpatrick, Freeman, and potentially Markinson to score Preston Knott and win this baseball game.
Owen McElpatrick 0 for 3 today with a walk, but really almost nobody you'd rather have up in this situation given his season-long stats. And now drives this one into right. Is it going to get down? No, it will not. Strong play from Rasmussen, and Knott will have to slide back into first. 2 away. A hard hit ball from Owen McElpatrick, but Rasmussen was right there.
Yeah, that's the second straight home game that McElpatrick has been up with a chance to tie or take the lead in the ninth. Both times getting unlucky. Again, last time Northwestern was at home, they lost 8-7 to Maryland in that finale. McElpatrick was up with 2 outs and nobody on, down by a run in the 10th, had a home run hit. It was taken back by Elijah Lambros. What ended up being the SportsCenter.
Oh, and that one gets away. Is not going to go to second. No, he will not.
What ended up being the SportsCenter number 2 play of the day. And that time, a hooked one. Looked like it could have been down for extra bases, but a great job by Rasmussen to run it down and keep Knott at first and keep the game tied.
That's a couple strong defensive plays from Rasmussen, who was all Missouri Valley Conference defensive team last year. Maybe on his way to that honor again this season.
And now up to Jackson Freeman. Has not had a good day. Maybe had one of his worst days of the entire season at the plate with the amount of uncompetitive swings we've seen from him. But a chance to completely change the narrative of his day today with a base hit or a walk-off in some capacity here.
And able to lay off and get ahead 2-0 is Freeman. The left-handed freshman facing the right-handed Joe Husak.
Good matchup for the Cats. And Freeman has walked today, so he's reached in 33 out of 36 games.
But a swing and a miss for strike one. Just has not been able to get the barrel to the ball today.
Yeah, a couple of Ks and a pop out to the third baseman, so yet to leave the infield. That's proof to the amount of barrels he's missed today.
But now takes ball 3 and not going to slide into second safely. So heads up base running by Preston Knott. And we'll give an assist to acting first base coach Tyler Gannis, who's a player on the team, a grad transfer from Oregon. Got off to a great start this season before an injury. And now making his impact felt as a coach as well.
Yeah, first stolen base for Knott.
The runner in scoring position, but now Freeman grounds it to first, and that'll do it for the ninth. We'll head into free baseball here in the top of the 10th. This game is tied at 6 after 9 fantastic innings.
Sokolov also had a rough day. Contreras does have an RBI double, but that's his only hit.
Looks like Tyler Heron at the plate. Pinch ran in the last inning. And he'll take ball 1 outside here.
Actually, Stanger pinch ran for Morris last inning, but this is a pinch hitter. I didn't catch that, so good snag.
So quite a few lineup moves here and a swing and a miss for strike 1. Heron, a dangerous pinch hitter, hitting .316 this season. 1 homer, 10 RBIs.
Yeah, multiple hits in 3 of his last 4 starts. Obviously didn't start this one. Did not get a hit on Sunday where he started. Went 0 for 4 in that one. Did go 2 for 4 against Northwestern earlier this season, so capable of hitting in Miller Park. Did strike out twice as well, though.
Yeah, a couple hits in that one for the junior from Grand Prairie, Alberta. And now he grounds this one to third. Bianchina across the diamond, and that'll be the first out of the inning as Loyola's able to hold on to it. Looked like it might bobble there for a second, but a good defensive play from the third baseman to the first baseman and 1 away in the top of the 10th.
Yeah, good work by Bianchina, staying cool, calm, and collected. That one bounced up. He had that one easy, and then Loyola did almost lose it. You are right, but able to squeeze it and got Heron by a step and a half, and we got our first out here of the extra baseball.
So Sokolov steps to the plate, has reached a couple times on a walk and a single. And now takes ball 1 high. As the shadows start to creep in on Miller Park, particularly down that right field line, going to make life harder for Jackson Freeman out there.
Yeah, but notably, this is also going to be more difficult for the hitters. This ball's coming out of the sun. McClure's hand just in the sun, and it's immediately darting into the shade. And that's going to make it really tough for hitters to pick up spin, which means that this off-speed pitch could be dangerous and really vital to getting these outs if he can locate it.
McClure's off-speed pitch has been a big part of his arsenal of late. and drops it in there for a strike.
Now it looks like rain is peppering down, although we aren't getting any in the booth.
Yeah.
The TV monitor appears that there's some rain dropping on the field. A little sun shower, never hurt anybody.
Some classic Chicago spring weather. And gets the swing and a miss there. So 2-2 against Sokolov.
Yeah, good pitch there from McClure. Just rode the fastball up in the zone. Got that foul tip into the mitt. 2 strikes.
And deals the 2-2. This one grounded right to Owen McElpatrick. He fields cleanly and over to Liokois for the second out of the inning. And about every batter faced for McClure has been a ground ball. Difference is a few of them snuck through, and then, of course, Griffin Arnone gives him a huge assist in the bottom of the ninth, ranging over from center to take away an extra base hit from Shai Robinson that really kept Northwestern in this game. And now McClure 1 out away from working a scoreless frame.
Yeah, good pitch on that last one to get up on Sokolov, kind of late on it, bounced it over to second.
That one misses down and away.
Shadows lessening a bit, sorry. Shadows lessening a bit as the sun's moved back behind the clouds.
Yeah, we've seen about every type of weather today, but all of it nice enough. Has not been the cold day you expect at Miller Park. This one lined foul just into the Illinois State bullpen, but certainly some good bat on the ball there from Contreras.
Yeah, that one kind of tailed off the end of his bat, something you get when you get a righty on righty or lefty on lefty, but good job by Contreras to punch that one the other way. Got a little too far out in front, which is why he caught it a little too deep, a little not quite far enough out in front, which is why it tailed away and out of play.
Contreras, a single that scored a couple runs early in this game. This one driven down the left field line, and that's going to hook foul as well. So hard hit balls down both foul lines. And McClure just going to settle himself. Just a long strike, and now a 1-2 count to Contreras, but that's a couple in a row that nearly fell for extra bases.
Yeah, and that one kind of the polar opposite. The one before got a little too deep on Contreras. That time was a little too far out in front and hooked it about 10 feet foul. Would have been extra bases, if not a home run. That one looked like it was heading for that left field foul pole before curving into the bushes.
1-2, 2 outs. Nobody on for Illinois State. And did Contreras go? Yes, he did. And so McClure gets the strikeout to end the top of the 10th. And Northwestern will get another opportunity to walk it off in the bottom half of the 10th.
We get one more look at that check swing. First base umpire Chad Oz decided that he went, and Northwestern will have another chance to walk it off.
And due at the plate for the Cats here in the bottom of the 10th, Bennett Markinson, Trent Liokois, Griffin Arnone. Those three all have hits today, so the meat of the order has produced. If they can do it again here, Northwestern will come away with a win.
And you see that graphic, Illinois State 0-2 in extras this season, so Northwestern at the advantage, is also being at home, the chance to walk it off. And this is the guy you want at the plate. And Northwestern 2-2, so a little better than Illinois State. Lost one at home a couple weeks ago to Maryland.
And now a hard hit ball here from Markinson. Is it going to find a gap? Yes, it will, and a chance for extra bases. Markinson rounds first, heading into second, and now he's going to fly around to third, still having trouble getting the ball in the infield. He'll slide into third for a leadoff triple, and the winning run is on third for Northwestern in the bottom of the 10th.
Yeah, that is Bennett Markinson's first triple of the season, and it could not have come at a bigger time. Kind of a unnecessary risk by Sokolov out in center. Should have pulled up on that one and held Markinson to a single base. Instead lays out and pays the price as Northwestern is a ground ball, a sac fly, a wild pitch, or a base hit away from winning this baseball game.
And they'll take a quick timeout, talk it over. Actually, this will be a Illinois State type timeout. Creeping in to the mound is the rest of the infield. No coach on, but Contreras going to talk with Husak. And, you know, we said that this is who Northwestern would want at the plate in this situation. It's also who Illinois State wants on the mound, and Joe Husak, their best arm out of the pen. But Trent Liokois steps to the plate looking to become the hero with nobody out, and Bennett Markinson standing on third after a leadoff triple.
Yeah, and Liokois 1 for 2 with a couple of walks.
Husak bounces that one for ball one.
And if you're Liokois, you don't mind taking a walk here. It's not going to score the run, but you bring up Griffin Arnone, who's been Northwestern's best hitter today. So Liokois has to be careful. Don't expand the zone. He's done a good job his last 2 plate appearances of not expanding. Has to do the same here in this at-bat.
And a couple walks already today, as you're saying. He's not been chasing, and that's a big developmental piece for Trent Liokois, who hit a ball really hard earlier in this game for a double off the wall. He does that again, Bennett Markinson could walk home.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised if they kind of pitch around Liokois here and then walk Arnone.
And drives this one into right. Going to be a play at the plate. Markinson coming home. The throw not in time, and Northwestern wins 7-6. The Cats walk it off, and a huge hit from Trent Liokois brings Bennett Markinson home.
Yeah, and it's mayhem at Miller Park. Great piece of hitting by Trent Liokois. Just drives that one into right. Wasn't sure it was going to be deep enough, but great base running from Bennett Markinson to tag and be off with the pitch. And what a game we got here today.